Hi folks, it's Succurso here again. Today I want to show you some stuff that I'm going to be working on in the near future. This is an army I've wanted to do for quite a long time in a specific style, and I purchased myself one of these, Cryx Battle Grip. Within that you get 3 bone jacks and a hell jack, a slayer variant, and OrcPainterNer. I've always really liked the look of these ones, and there's a specific style that I'm going to go over that I want to paint them in. I also have some Cryx mechanothrals, just because I think zombies with massive power fists is something pretty cool about that. Don't know why, I've always been drawn to these models. They're metal, which will be nice. Get to paint them up as well. And finally, I have had this for quite a long time. This is actually the Helljack kit, which allows you to build 3 variants: a Corruptor, a Reaper and a Slayer. I had actually previously painted this model, but I wasn't happy with how it turned out, and I subsequently followed a tutorial on YouTube by a YouTuber that goes by the name of OrcPainterNer, and he did a smashing tutorial using a certain AK Interactive product, which I'm just about to show you. The outcome of which, and I can't show you all because at the moment the base is currently drying, it's got resin on it, is this is kind of what it turned out like. You can see magnets in there, and I'll maybe go over that process as I'm building this slot up. One of the other arms here. So pretty corroded look to it all, using the green and yellow as a sort of spot colour really to make things pop out a little bit. And the product that I'm wanting to use is this. It is AK Interactive's heavy chipping fluid. This is a really cool product, and I'll go over a wee bit on how I use that when I come to paint the miniatures. I've already done the Helljack, as I mentioned, the kit that I had, but I do have all 3 in this to do, so I'm probably going to film all that. And then I suspect with OrcPainterNer that will be a paintbrush only tutorial. The other models will probably will definitely be painted with my airbrush, and this is the airbrush that I use here. It's Harden Steinbeck Ultra, reasonably cheap as these airbrushes go. I think this one cost me about 80 quid in the UK, £80, but it's been really nice to use so far. One thing that it doesn't have is you can't take this end cap off and just have the needle there. That when you take that off, the whole thing comes off, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind. So this will be predominantly airbrush work for a lot of it, but there will be some painting by brush. What else do I have to show you here? I'll also be using a material called Envirotex Light. One of the things that I was really keen on doing with this army was basing them to look like they're in a sort of swamp environment, and I did a bit of research online, and I came across quite a cool tutorial, and they really recommended to use this sort of material. This is a 2-part resin, epoxy resin. You mix them together in equal bits, equal parts, and you add in a couple of drops, and I found out to my basically that if you add too much you end up with almost completely opaque. This was one of the first tests that I did with quite a lot of green and yellow in there. Hopefully that's coming out under the light. but you can see it's almost completely opaque. That's a black base at the bottom. However, later tries did yield much better results, and I think I'll just show you anyway, because the resin has taken mostly. This is my first attempt at the wall jack. As you can see there, the resin is still setting up. It'll probably have another at least 24 hours to cure fully, but I think it's come out really quite nice so far. So that's the sort of effect I'm going to end up with, and I'm going to try and lead you through as much of it as I can, and also paint up the Mechanothrals and Warwick's de Negra as well. I did have another painting tutorial for you folks, and it involved an infinity miniature called Go Go Marlene. However, I didn't really have my camera set up properly, didn't have my lights set right. The camera was too close, and it ended up with thumbs everywhere, like that, basically. I'm going to try and salvage as much of it as I can, and probably do a wee showcase type video that will show off the paint job that I did in her. I will have to admit I was a wee bit disappointed that I messed it up quite so badly. But yeah, you live and learn, don't you? So really that's it at the moment. I'm currently going through the process of cleaning up all the various miniatures, and just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that I'm doing with them, I have here my current board that I'm working on. So these are some of the bone jacks that I'm just going over, taking the flash off, taking any wee extra bits of sprue that come off. For those of you who don't know, the Privateer Press minis come pre-clipped, which is fine, it's great. They don't always clip them that particularly close right enough, but so there's still a bit of work to be done on them. And because I want to have the kind of swamp bases, you need a sort of inset base. So what I've been doing is followed a tutorial by a gentleman called Schnauzer Face Minis on YouTube, and drill out round the edge of the base, clip it all out, take some plastic card, glue that onto the bottom, and then yeah, that's you get a recessed base that you can then build up slightly and pour your resin into eventually to give it that kind of nice swamp look. Quite happy with how it's working out so far. I think the army's going to look really good. I do have a Circle of Erebos army, so this will be a nice counterpoint to them, and a couple of friends that play Privateer Press as well, the Warmer Hordes. So it'll be good to get the army on the table against them. I kind of like these sorts of projects because I've got a very defined aim. I know what I'm going for. I know the techniques that I want to use now. I've tested them out. The inspiration for all this came from, as I mentioned already, OrcPainterNer's video where he painted up a Death Guard Predator, and he used so many different weathering techniques on it. It was really inspiring to watch that, and I will link the video down there somewhere in the description probably, but you should definitely check out his videos. The shooting of that video, the sort of music behind it, his particular voice, the way he sounds in it, is just all conducive to a really good video that I've really thoroughly enjoyed watching and have watched several times. And I really wanted to replicate the look, but I'm not really so into doing huge amounts of 40k stuff. But certainly I always thought that the look would go down really well on Cryx. So that's really it for the moment, folks. I hope I'll be able to get these videos out reasonably quickly. Real life might take a turn, and it always does, but hopefully over the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I'll maybe get these videos up, assuming I can get my setup down right, and I think it's going to work a lot better. But anyway, I'm going to leave that for now. Hopefully you'll follow along. Any comments, any thoughts on what I'm showing you so far, just drop them below. Like the video and subscribe if you would like to. Okay folks, catch you in the next one. Take care.